Hello and welcome to this lecture on Introduction to Pharmacokinetics. In this video, I will explain that why this topic is necessary to understand some of the basic information about a drug and how drug is actually going inside the body and uh, we getting the effect from the drug. As in the previous lecture, we already mentioned that the drug have to be undergone through four steps. Call it as ADME. ADME. And we talk about absorption, then distribution, then metabolism, and last is elimination. So actually pharmacokinetics is is important. It is really important. Why? When a medicine has been selected for a patient, the clinician must determine the dose that must closely achieve its goal. So it means the dose is very important. And to achieve this objective, you must understand there is a relationship between the dose and effect. Dose and effect model. So it means the drug always produces the effect not only with the help of pharmacokinetics, but with the help of pharmacodynamics. In simple terms, we call that dose and effect model. Pharmacodynamics governs the concentration effect part of interaction, whereas pharmacokinetics deal with the dose part. So when we talk about dose effect model, so you have to understand the dose is actually dealing with the pharmacokinetics. Whereas when we talk about the effect, it depends or it discusses the pharmacodynamics. We will discuss pharmacodynamics detail in the next lecture. If we define pharmacokinetics, it's actually defined as the action of the biological system on the drug. So what it meant by the actions? That's the first question. The answer is very simple. The actions will be A, D, M, and E. Absorption, distribution, metabolism, and elimination of the biological system on the drug. It means that when you take a drug, the drug have to be absorbed inside the gut. Then the drug have to be distributed through different part of the tissues. Then metabolism, which usually occur in the liver, where the drug has been biotransformed into active or inactive metabolites. We will discuss these all issues later on. Then we have elimination. The drug has been eliminated using the kidney in the form of either through urine, either through from your feces. So actually, these all things is very important when we talk about the drug, and they are all important to determine the dose of the drug, to get the optimum or maximum response from a drug. If you see next, the importance of pharmacokinetics in the patient care thus reset upon the improvement in the therapeutic benefit and reduction in toxicity. That's the same thing that we had discussed before, therapeutic benefits and reduction in toxicity that can be achieved by the application of these principles. So it means the same thing that I discussed before, that to optimize the therapeutic benefit and reducing the toxic effects, side effects can be achieved by pharmacokinetic principles. So you have to understand that in pharmacokinetics, the drug, when has been administered, it goes into the systemic circulation with the help of blood, and that blood will helpful to deliver the drug to different tissues such as adipose tissues, then different tissues that are present in the body. This is in the branch of pharmacokinetics. And then you can see this is another one showing that the drug has been metabolized and or excreted with the help of liver or excreted through kidney. So this first half is all talking about absorption, where the drug concentration in the systemic concentration after the absorption. So this section is defined as absorption. The drug has been absorbed from the gut, and then the drug has been circulated in the systemic circulation and then distributed to different part of the tissues like adipose tissues, and there are many other tissues we discussed in pathology before. Then the drug has been also metabolized and eliminated uh, in the body, and this whole process is under the pharmacokinetics. So you can see then the drug, the site of action, from that section the drug is producing the effect, and that we're talking about dose and effect. So when we talk about the effect, so the effect will be pharmacological effect. And then the pharmacological effect will produce in the clinical response such as efficacy, effectiveness, or producing the toxic effect. And toxic effect will be produced sometime if the dose is not appropriate. The overdoses can lead to toxicity. And you have to understand that every drug has its own therapeutic window. Therapeutic window. Now, if we see the introduction and we try to understand the pharmacokinetic process of absorption, distribution, and elimination, it depends upon how rapidly and how long the drug will appear at the target organ. So you have to understand that obviously the drug that you have been taking it through systemic circulation, it reaches to different target organs. I can explain in simple terms like, for example, I'm drawing the picture. This is known as compartment. the drug which have to be entered in the compartment, and then this drug has to be eliminated. This is known as simple compartment. So the compartment is actually defined as volume of body fluid, typically of the human, but also those other animals with multiple organs. This analysis is used to attempt mathematically describe distribution of small molecules throughout the organism with multiple compartments. So it means if we define organ in terms of mathematical model or in pharmacokinetics, we define in terms of compartments. And then compartment are just like in the organ of the body. But you have to understand that our organs, they are not single organ, they are multiple organs in the body. So you have to understand this thing that we have multiple compartments in the body. Like I can explain this picture. We call one center is a central compartment. And then we have peripheral compartments. Peripheral compartments. The central compartment consists of our heart, liver, lungs, kidney, so heart, liver, lungs, kidney, they are all organs. As I already discussed that we consider them as compartment, and they are the main part of our body. So we call them as central compartment. Whereas the peripheral compartments consist of fat tissues. I already described adipose tissues. Then we have muscle tissues. Then we have cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. So they are the peripheral part, and the heart, liver, lungs, kidney are the central compartment. And that what I'm talking about the previous slide. If you go back to my previous slide, and I'm going back to the slides, and I'm talking about drug in tissues of distribution. So you have to understand that there is a system, there is a mechanism that through which a drug has been gone through different processes to give you that pharmacological effect. That pharmacological effect that we are talking about, and we will discuss in pharmacodynamics later on. Then you have to understand another thing, that there is a relationship between the effect of the drug and the concentration. Then there is a relationship between the beneficial or toxic effect of a drug and the concentration. So you have to understand that the drug is producing its effect with time, and it depends upon concentration. Knowing the relationship between the dose, drug concentration, and effect allow the clinicians to take into account the various pathological and physiological features of a particular patient. So what is meant by pathologic and physiological features? The pathological features consist of organ failures, such as renal failure, heart failure, or pathological conditions, whereas physiological features consist of the body size, maturation of the organ functions in infant. So you have to understand first that the drug is producing its effect with time. If you see this graph, it will you see it from zero time, and on the other side you see the concentration. So with the increasing concentration, the graph is going upward, and at certain time it becomes stable and steady. And at that point we call it as steady state concentration, that the drug has been achieved. Steady state concentration. So first thing you have to understand that why pharmacokinetics is important. The main thing is that it helps to determine the optimum dosage. It helps to determine also not only about the dosage but understanding the underlying condition. So it means the pharmacokinetics varies from individual to individual depending upon the pathological and physiological features. So this is very important. You have to understand that each individual is different and each individual have different physiological functions and pathological functions. What is meant by physiological functions? Like they have different body weight, and sometimes it depends upon the patient age, the doses that has been given to the infants will be different as compared to the adults or at old age. So the physiological function of adults or individual in terms of infants or old age will be different. Then the pathological function it depends upon patient disease state. If a patient having a renal failure, the doses will not be the same. So we have to monitor the pathological condition of the patient, and not only this, the physiological function of the patient. So it means pharmacokinetics is important when we're talking about dosage optimization in an individual. So that is why this is very important. This is very, very important for the clinicians, for the physician, to give the patient as optimum treatment. Because if you do not calculate the doses appropriately and you do not consider pathological functions, if a person having a renal failure, then maybe the drug will accumulate more inside the body. And if the drug accumulates more inside the body, it produces the toxic effects, side effects. For example, I'm just giving you one example like digoxin. Digoxin has very narrow therapeutic window. It means a small dose is required for the treatment in heart failure. But if a patient having underlying condition like renal failure and you are not considering this in the treatment, then what happens if a patient having renal failure, the dose will not be eliminated through kidney, the dose will more accumulate inside the body, and after that, the drug producing toxic effect, and patient will die from that toxic effect. So in this scenario, you have to understand that pharmacokinetics is very important parameter. Before we're talking about the pharmacological effect actually. Let's take a look of this diagram, uh, figure 1.2. And if you see and read, when medication are given on continuous basis, serum concentration increases until the drug administration equal to elimination. So you can see this is the time, this is concentration, and you see the concentration rises at certain point, and at that point, then the drug administration equal to drug elimination. And that is known as actually steady state concentration, where the drug has been achieved. So you can see in this case, a solid line show a serum concentration in a patient receiving intravenous theophylline at rate of 50 milligram per hour. You can see this diagram. This is a solid line. A patient is achieving this by getting 50 milligram per hour of theophylline. And then you can see another line which is known as dash line. You can see this dash line. I can take it, show you with another color. Okay, this is known as a dash line. So you can see the concentration increase, then decrease, then increase, then decrease, then increase, then decrease, then decrease, then decrease. You can see in this both scenarios, actually we are achieving the same thing, but the way we're doing the process is different. You can see it mentioned as well that in this case the oral theophylline 300 milligram for every 6 hours has been given. So it means the dose that has been given in this case is 300 milligram. And we're talking about oral theophylline. It means we are giving the patient an oral dose. It could be a tablet. And you can see that compare that 300 milligram dose has been given. And we mentioned the time interval as well, 6 hours. Whereas when we see about the solid line, this solid line, they are talking about a constant intravenous theophylline at 50 milligram. So what do we understand from this slide? The important thing we have to understand that the route of administration is important. What is meant by route of administration? It is meant by that how a drug has been given to the patient. So I have deleted everything and just want to explain again that the rule of administration is very important. The patient is giving either intravenous. So the route of drug administration is very important. Either the patient is giving the drug as intravenous or patient is giving the drug as oral. Because for both type of therapies, the doses will be different. For oral therapy, we're giving a high dose of 300 milligram or every 6 hours. And you can see as a dotted line that we give them high concentration after 6 hours, then the concentration drops. Then we again give the therapy, we again give the dosage, and then again after certain time the concentration drops, and we maintain through that way a steady state concentration. Because when you see, it's talking about dose and dosage interval, because 300 milligram divided by 6, if we divide 300 milligram divided by 6, it is actually the same 50 milligram per hour. But when we talk about intravenous, then actually we're giving 50 milligram per hour. The question is that why are we giving 50 milligram per hour? Why don't we apply same dose 50 milligram per hour through oral? This is very important question, that why are we giving different dosage in intravenous theophylline as compared to the oral theophylline? The answer is very simple, because when you take the drug orally, the drug is not going to your blood directly. The drug has to be going to your stomach, and then it reaches to your intestine. From then it goes to your systemic circulation. Whereas when you're giving the drug intravenous, the drug has been going directly to your blood. So in this case, there is no distribution is going on. The drug is directly going to your blood, and then through blood it goes to your different tissues. So this is very important. The route of administration is very important to determine the dosage. That is very important. That is mentioned actually in this slide. That if you divide 300 milligram divided by 6, is actually 50 milligram per hour, but we have to give those in intervals. So this is very important. Both are same to achieve the steady state concentration, and we will discuss detail later on in the slides. So thank you so much for today's lecture. This is a brief introduction of pharmacokinetics. Hope to see you more in upcoming lectures. Thank you.